after spending nearly $20,000 on this beautiful Dodge Demon and putting in weeks of work, it somehow looks worse now than when I bought it. And no, that is not gonna change today. We've replaced the suspension, sent the engine off for a proper build at the machine shop, and even taken it on its first test drive. But one thing we haven't done, and it's not because I'm scared. I'm not scared.
Okay.
Me personally, I prefer the word nervous, but it's time to start hacking this demon up. The pillar, the roof, the quarter panel, it's all coming off. This absolute disaster of an interior. We have to get every bit of it out. But once we get done gutting this poor demon, we can finally start building my version of the ultimate American muscle car. Now for the question of the week, where do we start? I think I have a plan. Is it a good plan? Debatable, I suppose. But what I think we're gonna do here is pull off this roof. It's always nice when the car gives you a little bit of a head start. And as you can see here, the roof has so kindly started to remove itself. All right, team, I think we're about there. That spot weld there may be one more down there from that rear roof bow. I think that's it. This has been way too easy. Do you by any chance remember how long it took us to pull that Porsche roof? Forever. We're not gonna have this luxury whatsoever when we go to do this on the donor car, but for now, we can just kind of take the easy way out, hack an access panel in this roof, which is holding together really well, actually. Much success. Can't lie to you guys, it feels pretty amazing to have some room to work in here. I think this is gonna make the whole operation, everything we're doing today, go 10 times smoother.
Throwing this out there, you know, just picture it, Lee, up in lights. World's first convertible manual swap demon.
That's too long. I'm not a convertible guy. I'm very fair skinned. I'm not built for that harsh sun. It's good to get a look at what we're going to be working with moving forward. This gives me a lot of confidence that sticking that other roof on is not going to be that big of a deal. This is a massive, massive roof skin. The good news is once we get rid of this roof skin and stick that hardtop roof skin on there, I'm pretty positive we're going to lose a ton of weight. I've yet to see one with the headliner down, but to the best of my knowledge, the hardtop roofs are just mounted with 3 bows. You have the rear one right there, you have the center one right there that you saw us unbolt, and then of course we have this front one here which is still on the car. One other thing I was really happy to see on this was how easy it drilled out. As you heard us mention earlier, my 911 Turbo, it took forever. The only thing I can think of is that German sheet metal really is all it's cracked up to be. I can't think of any other reason why this would have been so easy to drill through. Now before we move on to some more cutting here, I have a question for you guys. We all know by this point that I'm doing giveaways throughout this entire series. At some point when the car is closer to being done, I'm planning on doing some type of merch. I don't know if it's shirts, stickers, whatever, but I want to hold on to one large piece to cut up and ship with every order. So this is the part where you go down in the comments and vote. Are we going with the roof or are we going with the rear quarter panel there? So if you've ever wondered what a Challenger looks like 100% topless, you're welcome. For as depressing as this scene looks in front of you, I'm actually really encouraged for a couple different reasons. The first, this front roof bow. I had assumed that it was going to be kind of flimsy, not really providing much structural support. But this guy here, the front portion of it, it's not one but 2 pieces of metal spot welded together and then mounted to the car with this much thicker end brace. For obvious reasons, structural integrity is a bit of a concern in this build. Needless to say, I'll take good bracing wherever I can get it. Prior to this, I thought the only thing protecting us when we roll this thing would be the A-pillars themselves. Some might call it ambition, most would probably call it delusion, but this area right here is the one part of this project that I'm not 100% confident in.
Stop it. Get some help.
I'm not going to pretend that was anything resembling fast, easy, or fun, but I believe we're about there. We hit spot welds all the way back to the B-pillar and then went all the way up here under the upper door hinge. If you follow this outer panel down, you see it doesn't cut in anywhere. It goes all the way back to the rear quarter. I assume from the factory they just slap an entire side of the car right on the body. On our beautiful little Demon here, I haven't quite decided how I'm going to install the new panels when the time comes. If we can find ourselves a wide-body Challenger donor car with a completely flawless driver's side, I may very well attach it all as one big panel. As for removing the parts from this car, there's no reason we need to go and make things hard on ourselves. Sorry, let me clarify. There's no need to make things any harder than we already have by buying this monstrosity, so what we're going to do is just hack it off right there and work our way up. There we are. Not bad for an amateur. First impression under here. It's clearly not as bad as that outer thin layer of sheet metal, the A-pillar that you could actually see all buckled up. But unfortunately, if I had to guess, this is still bowed just a little bit. This next part's going to be really hard to pick up on camera, but I believe to the naked eye, right there, it looks like it's down just a little bit. We'll get to measuring that in just a little bit, but first we have a couple more things we need to pull off, like this door. I'm still not quite sure how we're going to pull that off. But one thing I'm sure of, it's going to be much, much easier without this giant mess in the interior. Not only that, but we've yet to get into the trunk of this car. For obvious reasons, we can't open the trunk in a normal fashion, so that leaves one option. Get all that out of the way and reach the emergency latch on the underside. What do you think's in the trunk?
That's a good question, man. Now that I'm thinking about it, we never open it. What about if it's like a bag full of cash?
I highly doubt that. As for what's in the trunk, I have two theories. Theory number one, there's absolutely nothing in there. But theory number two, there's a note from the insurance company laughing at us for buying this piece of shit. But we're not going to get to the bottom of this mystery until we fully clean out this interior, which I am not at all excited about, and finally pop that trunk. Guys, we're 5 hours in, and it might not look like we made a ton of progress, but I promise you we have. I want to take a quick second and shout out this guy here. If you look in the air, there's just a kind of cloud of demon dust in here. But with that said, we found some absolutely insane stuff in here. You all right, dude? As you guys saw, I had to cut that driver's seat out. Unfortunately, it was all the way back, so I couldn't get to the rear bolts. It was an absolute nightmare, and frankly, it took about an hour and a half. I'm a little more hopeful with the passenger side. It looks like whoever was riding shotgun was a little bit shorter. The seat's only halfway back, so I'm somewhat optimistic we can get to all 4 bolts. It's absolutely unreal how much stuff we've got out of this car. Somehow when we got this car in, even seeing the shape the interior was in, I didn't think it was going to be this much stuff. And if you look in there, it doesn't even look like we've made a dent. I am just a little concerned about the life the car lived prior to me buying it. I think most of you guys are going to agree once I show you what's on the trunk, after I figure out how much of it I can actually show you. Well, this one's not up far enough either. It looks like this one's also going to be an ordeal. Cue the music.
Bang, bang.
I have no idea if you can actually hear me, guys, but I think we're on the last piece of carpet here, finally. Oh my God. You really want to turn the camera on for this?
Yeah.
It's like 50-50 I just fall.
Yeah. That's why.
I could do this 8 in the morning, now I'm beat. Ugh.
You need some fresh air?
Yes, and I also feel like outside is the only safe place to take this off. Guys, we got so much junk out of that car. Not only that, but we also found license plates, service records. I have a little bit of research to do, and then we have quite a few things to go over that we found in that car. Keep in mind, we haven't even opened the trunk yet. All right, guys, before we hop back into it, I want to take just a quick second of your time, and don't worry, it's not an ad. Some of you guys already know that I've spent the last decade or so building this salvage business from my parents' backyard into whatever you want to call this. What you guys don't know, though, is that up until about a year ago, I had completely lost my love of cars as a hobby. But about a year ago, I decided to buy a Corvette and pick up a camera, and honestly, it changed everything. Turns out that I really enjoy doing this, and not only that, but being able to share my automotive journey with you guys has brought back every bit of love I have for this hobby 100,000%. I really can't even put it into words how grateful I am for just the insane amount of support you guys have shown. Without you guys, there's a 0% chance I'm doing this, and somehow, even on a day like today, where I spend 10 hours on a respirator cleaning out this disaster, this somehow makes it all fun. Truly, guys, thank you so much, and with that said, let's get back to it. Check her out, what do you think?
Man, it's not that bad.
Not that bad, man. I'm gonna shoot you straight. If I didn't see the way this car looked before, I'd never even know the thing was on fire.
Well, I mean, you're going crazy now. It's not.
Anyway, frankly, none of this was hard at all. It was just really, really time consuming. We didn't run into any one spot that gave us much trouble. Well, except the shifter plate, but that's a different story. Hey, can I get a hand, please? After that, there was only one thing left to do. We had to bust out the vacuum and do some sucking. Now that I'm no longer in danger of breaking a leg while working in here, I guess we can stick on our first manual swap piece, the manual trans tunnel. Now that we're halfway done our manual swap, we can finally go over everything we found in this car. We haven't done a giveaway in this video yet, so I suppose we'll start with one of those. We have another piece of molten demon. You guys loved this from the first video, and this one, it's a little bigger and a little heavier than any of those were. So for this, you got to go down in the comments and put the demon looks good as new. You guys know the drill by now. At the end of the next video, I'll pick one of the comments and send you that piece of demon. Where are we going next? I know you have some questions. I can see it in your face.
It's a lot of question, confusing, like what actually happened to this thing, but red seatbelt.
It was buried under a ton of ash, but somehow some of this red seatbelt did survive. I figured it's cool enough. I like red stuff. Why not give it away?
Now the interior looks so clean, it's gonna be brand new interior. Put that in the comments.
You can't avoid it at this point. You gotta pick something else, and it's probably gonna be sketchy because there's not much left here that isn't.
So you can tell that the fire went fast when they left their phones on it.
Multiple phones.
So multiple phones.
What's up with that one right there?
I mean, we are not allowed to show it on
Censored
YouTube.
for YouTube purposes.
Yeah.
Got
Hey,
it.
but subscribe to the OnlyFans. We
Oh,
can show
stop,
you that.
stop it. What this tells me is it wasn't a car that they blew the trans, pushed it to the side of the road, and then lit it on fire because nobody's leaving their cell phones. So if you had that theory in the original video, I think you're out. I suppose now we're just going to run right down the rest of it. I'm going to assume that this was some type of alcohol, probably wine. Let's just say it's not the only alcohol we found in the car. Next up, a partially dismantled ski mask. And now's where things get even more interesting. I found a license plate for the car. I can't show you what it is for obvious reasons, but it did match a social media profile from someone who just so happened to have a red demon, and maybe they did a one-handed burnout or two in their stories. As for what's in this bag, you're not going to believe it. Seriously, you might not believe it because I can't show you. I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. Of course, like the upstanding citizens we are, we're going to be turning this over to the local authorities. You ready? I think you're going to have to pull up. Oh. I don't want to say I got my hopes up last night, but I was looking at some of the demon brochures and I saw you can mount the skinnies in here. Didn't work out for us like that. Obviously, we have much bigger concerns with this car, but the upper panel here, as well as the trunk carpets that you just saw me throw away, both of those have just nasty stuff all over them. This one's all disgusting and warped. What's absolutely wild to me is Corvette owners will pay $500 to have this exact design airbrushed on the inside of their deck lid. They can just light their car on fire, get it for free. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the trunk was the absolute haul that I was naively hoping for, but there are a few interesting pieces. A lot of this stuff looks pretty normal. This is just regular old Challenger owner's manual, supplement guides, license plate screws. This right here, front license plate mount, will definitely not be needing that. Here's where things get a little more interesting. Demon SU kit. I guess that means Demon supplement kits. This is actually pretty cool. Do we open this? Or do we leave it like this? Probably best to put on some clean gloves for when these things are selling at Barrett Jackson in $21.45.
Ooh, look at the picture. That's awesome.
That is cool. SRT Demon tips. I guess this was supposed to be hanging from the rear view when you bought the car. I don't know. It might not be worth much, but that is awesome.
Oh, we're actually missing the toolbox right now.
It's the Demon crate. Don't disrespect it, Fernando. And this is where I pander to you guys. If any of you have a Demon crate for sale, parts of the Demon crate, a broken Demon crate, a set on fire Demon crate, let me know. I will buy it. The other side of this tells you how to detail the thing. I don't see any instructions whatsoever for putting out a fire, which probably could have helped. What is this? It looks like this is the brochure with the phone number on it that you call to get your Demon crate. Now, trust me, guys, I have done a little research. I can't get this from Dodge, unfortunately. Apparently, it was only available to the original owner, but still a really cool piece of memorabilia. I thought about it for a second. I gotta call the number, right? It's just the SRT tech line. It has a racing logbook. Check that out. That's actually really cool. I'm definitely filling this thing out. Pad, brake, and accelerator pedal. Hey, all right. Check that out. There were definitely just basic rubber pads on this thing when I pulled the pedals out of it. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use this anymore, so that kind of sucks. It is from 2018, so I think this came with the car. That's weird that it never got put on, but I will take it. These are really, really rough. But the important part's here. It's a $1,600 invoice from Moss Bros Dodge in California, and it is for the car coming in with a cracked radiator and no coolant. I'm not worried about that. We don't even have a radiator at this point. The engine's getting rebuilt. It really doesn't matter what happened to it. But the important piece of info on here.
That's a real low mileage.
39.66 in May of 2022. So even if you put some mileage on it over the summer, this has to be a low mile car. Which I guess doesn't matter whatsoever, but I think it's cool. This last piece here, I guess, was a hang tag for reminding you to remove your bumper covers. I don't know what it is, but I want to do one more giveaway. So go down in the comments, put 2 hands on the steering wheel, and one of you guys are going to win this thing. As much fun as it was checking out all that Demon stuff and getting ourselves a new set of pedals on the house, we still have a ton of work to do here, so let's go ahead and get to it. As I'm drilling this thing, as I've been working in it for the past day or so, I've been battling the car, kind of moving back and forth because, well, it doesn't have any brakes, or it doesn't have working brakes. And then I came to the realization there's absolutely no reason we can't put this working e-brake from that silver Hellcat in it. There's a 50-50 chance I'd smash my finger in this thing.
1 to 10, how mad you gonna be if that happened?
I'm not gonna answer that, they'll know. It'll be obvious, trust me. Forgot to put it through the floor. For reference, this is how your mind works when you've been drilling a quarter panel for 4 hours straight. I gotta admit, this makes it pretty easy to work on the car. Wish all my cars didn't have a roof or windshield or any other glass. That's more like it. I'm digging that. All right, another half an hour on the drill, and I'll see you guys to pop off this quarter panel. Now, I don't want to speak too soon here, but I'm pretty positive this quarter panel is ready to come off. Okay. Mission accomplished.
I was about to say, oh, it's awesome. It doesn't have any damage, but...
Fernando, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not care. That is so easy to just pull out. That is the least of my concerns, honestly. Now that the hard work, at least for today, is done, kind of anxious to see what this thing looks like on the ground with no quarter on it. Guys, the side of this car, it looks absolutely ridiculous. Frankly, this looks like something that should be on our scrap trailer and not something we're pouring tens of thousands of dollars into to rebuild. As for the quarter panel removal itself, it was super tedious, but in the end, it was fairly easy. And now that we have that thing off of there, I know I said earlier that I'd let you guys pick the roof or the quarter, which one we want to cut up and give away later. But I don't know, that quarter panel, that would look sick on the wall. Problem is, we already made the offer, so I guess we're just gonna have to try to really sell this roof. I mean, it looks great, guys. It's really awesome. It's a demon part. Yeah, it's from a demon. I don't know what else to say about it. You guys can pick the quarter panel if you want, but if it were me picking, I'd definitely pick that roof. You think that worked?
Yes.
You know, I had to push it outside for just one more cleaning, and I have to say I'm quite proud. This is as far as this car is getting stripped down. With the exception of that passenger pillar right there, there's really nothing else we need to cut off of this. Aside from that, there are a couple other structural pieces that I want to replace, namely this big firewall support. The sheet metal, that took some heat, but it didn't warp somehow. I'm not necessarily worried about that. What I would like to replace, though, is this thicker section up here. After a hard week of work like this, I think we've earned ourselves the right to blow some money. Last night, I placed a massive order with Dodge, but as some of you guys know, Demon parts are super strictly regulated. You have to jump through a ton of hoops to be able to buy them, and while I think I sent them the right information, this is gonna go one of two ways. You see what this guy's rebuilding?
That's awesome.
That's wild. Let's get him his parts. What the is that? You see what this?
That's kind of ridiculous.
What a fucking moron. We're not selling him shit. I have no clue how that's going to play out, but we'll find out soon enough. But for everything that's not VIN regulated, well, I have a place for that. Hey, my man.
I think that I have what you need.
You definitely have what I need.
Okay, so.
Check out all these Mopars. You guys already know the story with that thing, and this is going to provide a good bit of the donor parts we need. As for now, here's what I'm thinking. We're gonna take our A-pillar off this. It's the perfect cut. We already said we're gonna take the roof off of it. Along with that, every other piece of glass in this car is good. It doesn't have any crazy tint on it. So all around, we're gonna take every piece of glass out of this car for ours. Now, moving on to this guy over here, we have a driver's door that's, not bad. It's not bad. We definitely do need a driver's door. I think this one is just rough enough. It has a little bit of damage. In our case, the perfect amount of damage. So with that said, I think we're gonna go ahead and take the door off of that car. As for the last car here, the only complete-ish Hellcat we have here, I can tell by the way Fernando's standing on it that he's gonna want too much money for everything, so I'm not even gonna bother with that one. One thing I've been thinking about a lot today, as nice as it is to be making progress on the parts front, one thing we haven't done is make sure these A-pillars are actually straight. But as we've been doing more builds like this, I've been able to splurge and buy some nicer equipment. I think I have the perfect new tool to see if this roof is actually going to fit and see if this chassis is straight.
46 inches. 46 and 3/4?
Sounds good to me. If our minty fresh Redeye here says it's going to fit, then I suppose it's going to fit. Now on the topic of this Redeye, if you watched last episode, then you might remember I said this. One of you guys are gonna have the opportunity to come pick this drivetrain up at the shop for free. If you take a quick look under there, you might see that motor, it's no longer in there. The other day, Fernando and I spent the day yanking the drivetrain among some other things out of this guy right here, and we did decide a winner. Not only that, but you know I couldn't resist just doing one more giveaway from this car. There's your hint right there. Being that this thing's gonna be a build of its own, I figured it was only right to film a video on the whole process. That's right, it's the first official double feature we've did on the channel. I just dropped this video on my personal channel. It'll be linked down in the description. Go check that out, and while you're there, make sure you subscribe. That channel's the place I post everything that I can't post on the main channel. Team, I know she doesn't look like much, but I could not be happier with how this project's going. We very obviously have a long way to go, but from here on out, it is all building upwards. Once again, thank you guys so much for the support you've shown on this project. You guys have me 10 times more excited about it than I ever thought I would be when I bought this thing from auction. I can say with absolute certainty though, one thing I am not excited about is this absolute disaster of a mess we have to clean up. But while I suck it up and do that, and then go hit the salvage auction looking for that perfect wide body donor we need, make sure you guys stick around for just another minute to see the winners of last video's giveaways. And with that said, I will see you guys back here in the shop ASAP as possible. Oh, f you. Now before we move on to the rest of the cutting here, did you just catch Eric almost fall on camera?
Yeah.
No.
Could you imagine if actually a note that say, whoever bought this car is an idiot?
That's the YouTube comment section. They already told me that. I ain't getting banned off YouTube. Not yet. If I get banned off YouTube, it's gonna be something I did.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the fact that it's missing the engine, transmission, interior, all the wire.
Anything else you'd
Minor
like to
stuff,
add, bud?
paint.
When I'm at the Dodge events this summer, I'm just telling people I have a demon. No context, nothing else. There's no reason to do that today. We can do just a f***ing chair squeaking, Jesus Christ.
Right.
I do feel the need to explain the reason I'm using this guy instead of just cutting it clean through. I gotta switch. I can't fucking move it all.